So you finally decided to sell that house. I've been trying to tell you, it's a seller's market. It's time to go ahead and cash in and get what you're able to get. Now, the question is, how do we make it market ready? Well, stick with me. I'm going to show you some proven steps, some essential steps to getting your home sold in the best amount of time for the best amount of money. All right, so let's start with what buyers see first, and that's going to be your exterior, your curb appeal. All right, so you have about 30 seconds to make a great first impression. That's as they're driving past your home or pulling up to the front. That's their first impression. So make sure that that first impression is the best. Okay, so how can you make the curb appeal look better? So let's start with your lawn care. All right. Make sure your grass is not growing up high. Go ahead and edge along your driveway. If you have flower beds, make sure your flower beds are looking really good. Pull any unnecessary weeds. Make sure that, once you drive past your house, if it's something that appeals to you, it may be something that appeals to others too. Okay. So now let's talk about maintenance. Now, is there any missing paint off of your house, or does your house need to be pressure washed? There are small things like that that could really take you about 5 to 10 minutes, or maybe have a friend that's got a pressure washing company. Hey, can you do me a favor? So go ahead and get your exterior power wash, get your driveway power wash. That makes a difference too. Any missing paint, if your gutters are falling off, or if your gutters don't look like they're in good shape, go ahead and replace them, or, just go ahead and make the necessary repairs. Okay. So front door. Your front door is your home's jewelry piece. Go ahead and give some thought to maybe adding a different color to it. Maybe navy blue, maybe turquoise, or even red. Anything different that makes it stand out will likely catch somebody's attention. So here's a quick tip. All right. I want you to walk across the road, and I want you to look at your house from across the road, not as your house. I want you to look at it as somebody looking to buy a house. What do you see? Is it something that you would be interested in buying? Or can you see parts of that gutter that need to be replaced? Okay, guys, here comes the part where we're going to go inside. And this is where a lot of sellers take this bit of information to the teeth. Sometimes they don't like what realtors have to tell them about this part. But this is the thing, guys. We want to bring buyers in. We want buyers to envision their items in your home. We're not welcoming them in to your museum. We want this to be their museum. We want them to see, where will my couch go? Where will my mini fridge go? We want them to be able to envision it. So this is what I want you to do. Go ahead and remove 50% of your belongings, if not more. If you could remove more, that would be great. Declutter, declutter, declutter. Go ahead and start packing things up. Put it in the garage, or if you're able to get a pod, that would be great too. If you're able to get a storage unit. Okay, now let's visit your kitchen. So you have a lot of clutter in your kitchen. Now, we all love a good pot of coffee, but if you have one of them gigantic coffee makers, you might want to think about downsizing until at least you move on to a different house. So that way we don't have too much cluttering our cabinets and our counter space. All right. You want to remove as much as you can from your counter space, leaving only a few small decorations. Of course, you still want it to be inviting. So you want to leave a little bit of decor, but not overwhelming. Go ahead and walk through your bedrooms and minimize the stuff in there. Okay. So organizing always makes things look better. And that way it makes that closet look a little bit more spacious. If you have every outfit that you've ever owned for the last 10 years in there, including shoes, they're not seeing how much space is in there. They're just seeing your things. They're not seeing how big that is. They're seeing actually how small it looks, because when you've got it cluttered, it's going to make it look smaller. Now, we all love furniture. We all love exquisite things. Most of us. Some people, we have our minimalists. I want you to live like a minimalist, okay? So what that means, if you're the love sack type person and you've got the giant bean bags all over the place, put them in storage. Put them in storage. If you have an overwhelming amount of furniture, go ahead and pack some of that away, or have a yard sale if you don't need it. Do whatever you have to do because you want the future buyer, to come in and say, well, my living room would look better if I put my sofa over there. Well, if all they can see is your furniture, they're not able to envision where they're going to put their own. All right. So the next part is the part where most sellers hate. Take down your family photos and your artwork. It's not necessary. It really isn't, because it could cause emotions for the buyer that we might not want. They might say, oh, they have such a nice family, they need this home, or whatever the case may be. Go ahead and take all of that down. And then also, if you have a lot of religious items or political items, go ahead and pack them away too. It's okay to still have your beliefs, of course. I would never tell anybody that you have to give up on your beliefs, but your beliefs are your beliefs, and it has nothing to do with selling your home. Okay, so we're also going to take down memorabilia. If you have a little thimble collection, or even if you have a gun collection, things like that, we're going to pack them things away and replace it with something neutral decor. Okay, so I have something called the 3-box rule. I want you to take 3 boxes in every room, 3 large boxes. All right. One of them you're going to label keep. These are going to be the items that you're going to keep here at this house while you live in here until you get it sold. Your second box is going to say donate. These are items that you have not used in the last year and you don't need them. Go ahead and donate them. Somebody else might put it to use. Then the next box is going to say store. These items are going to go in storage somewhere. You could put it in your garage, preferably a pod or a storage building. But if you don't have access to one of them, use your garage or use the shed in the backyard or something that your items won't get destroyed, of course. But you do want to store some. Now, you want to be ruthless when you're going through these rooms, okay? Because the goal in mind, we want to get your home sold. To be ruthless, if you haven't used this item in the last year, go. Now, here's a small tip. I know I've mentioned storage a lot, and some people think that just putting it in the garage, it works. It will work, but I do encourage, if you're able to rent a small storage building or a small storage room or whatever in a storage facility, trust me when I say that small investment will pay off, because your home will probably sell faster once it's not overcluttered. All right, guys, so we have made it to section 3. Section 3 is going to be our cleaning section. We're going to put on our elbow pads and our gloves, and we're going to go through this home, and we're going to deep clean this home. I want you to clean out your stove. I want you to polish all of your silver, anything that's stainless steel. I want that to be polished. Anything that you can do to put a shine on this home, to make it more appealing, that's going to tell a buyer, hey, they've really taken good care of this home. We don't want them walking into a dirty house. We don't want them walking into a house and saying, oh, they didn't love this home. They just let it go to trash. We want them to have the opposite opinion, okay? Now let's go ahead into the bathrooms and go ahead and make sure that all of the caulk is in good condition. If it's not in good condition, go ahead and re-caulk. It doesn't take that long to re-caulk. Go ahead and put some fresh caulking in. Make sure your shower curtain's nice and fresh. Doesn't have mildew or anything like that on it. Go ahead and replace everything that you can. Of course, you're not going to break the bank because they're not going to keep your decor. But anything that you can polish up a little bit, make it look a little nicer, go ahead and do that. Windows. Guys, windows. I can't stress it enough. People will walk in and the first thing they want to do is see the natural lighting come in. And if your window is fogged to the core, if your window is filthy, has flies sticking to it from that fly strip that you had hanging or something like that, clean it. It doesn't take but just a minute. Clean it. So make sure your floors are mopped. Make sure your carpets are vacuumed. All of the things that you can do to really put a good spin on your home, make sure you do that, especially before picture day. Make sure all of your appliances are sparkling. Make sure scuff marks on walls. It happens, guys. Go ahead and clean them off of your walls, off your the molding on the bottom. Go ahead and clean all the scuff marks off. Touch up any paint that needs to be touched up. Go ahead and do all these small little things just so that way it makes a really great first impression when somebody walks in. All right, so section 4 is staging. There are some things that you can do that are considered light staging that you could do while you still live in the home. But I would hope you would definitely do if you don't live in a home. So make sure before every showing, we're opening all the blinds. We want that light, that natural light to shine in. People don't do showings at nighttime most of the time. So we definitely want that natural light to come in. Open all of your blinds. Allow that natural light to come in. Make sure all of your fixtures are clean. If you have dim light bulbs in your ceiling, go ahead and replace them with good light bulbs, okay? Do a good wattage. If you have corners that are a little darker, put your little table and put a lamp there. So that way it's showing everybody every detail of your home and how magnificent your home is. Okay, so now let's talk about furniture. So you want to create an inviting area. So look behind me right here. You're not creating road jams, roadblocks, or anything like that. You're thinking minimalist, all right? You still live here, so you definitely still want some of your furniture, but you don't want so much furniture that people cannot see their own furniture in here. And you also want it to be inviting. You want to have like a conversational area, okay? So right over here, you'll see the chair and the sofa. That's all. They didn't put nothing else in here. So now let's talk about colors. All right. Now this is one area that some sellers don't really like, because I will, if your home is filled with black walls and things, maybe even very old wallpaper that's just not very attractive, I will recommend to repaint. Now, if you're not able to repaint, of course, that's okay. You know, not everybody's able to do them things, but if you're able to repaint, I will recommend that, because we want something to be very neutral. Go ahead and put some neutral colors in your home. If there's any old, like outdated wallpaper, get rid of it. And then help it pop a little bit by adding some colorful throw pillows here and there, or maybe like a small painting or something very small. Remember, we're thinking minimalist, but something with some color. That's where you're going to want to add your color. Okay, so there are 4 rooms that you want to pay close attention to when getting your home ready to put on the market. That's going to be your bedroom. Make that thing look like a hotel suite. All right. Make it look very inviting. Make sure that there are crisp sheets on the bed. Make sure it's staying clean with minimal furniture. And put your little nightstand. If you don't have a whole lot of lighting, some people don't use a light on the top. They'll use lamps. Make sure your lamps are providing enough lighting in that room. Then we've got the kitchen. So for the kitchen, go ahead and clear off the countertops and add a fresh bowl of fruit. Now that fruit, yes, it's going to be for people viewing your home. They're allowed to eat it. You want to leave a snack because we want them to feel welcome. The more warm you can make them feel, the more they're going to walk away loving this house. The next room is going to be your living room. So as you can see in this living room here, and yes, this house is for sale. They went with a minimalist approach. They only have a love seat and a recliner. So people can still sit down when they come in, and it's a conversational area. However, it still is inviting them to put their thoughts. Okay, what can I put in this space? It's not taking up all of the space. Therefore, it's allowing people to envision what their things are going to look like in that space. Now we're going to move on over to bathrooms. So the 4th room is going to be your dining room. Go ahead and leave a table there. Have it set up just as if you were getting ready to have company. Make sure it looks elegant. Minimalist ideas though, okay? We don't want to over clutter, but make sure it does look elegant, okay? So the very last part is going to be your final touches. Now the final touches can be the difference in a showing and a sale. So now we're going to appeal to the sensory area. So eliminate any pet odors and any cooking odor. I know a lot of people will tell you, oh, but if it smells like food, it's going to make them think of home. That is not true. That is not true. So any cooking odors or pet odors, go ahead and get rid of them. Something that's very welcoming would be a vanilla smell or a clean linen smell. So if you know you're about to have a showing, go ahead and leave some soft music playing, nothing overwhelming, but something very soft and soothing. And make sure the temperature is really good. You don't want them running out because they're sweating their butts off or because they're freezing. Make sure you have a very neutral temperature. Okay, so now we're going to talk about the day of your showings. Now, if you have the flexibility to where you can prepare before each showing, then this is the perfect thing to do. Go ahead and make sure all of the beds are made. Make sure the house is picked up. Make sure all medications are put away. You never want to leave medications out. Mail, I would say go ahead and put your mail away as well. You don't want, because we can't guarantee people aren't going to be nosy. So go ahead and put mail away. Make sure your pets are locked away. And then one thing that I highly advise, flowers. Flowers appeal to almost everybody. Put some fresh flowers out in the vases. So another thing you could do, make sure the table is nice and set so they could see what it would look like at their dinner time. Make sure all of the bathrooms have clean towels in them, fresh towels. You don't want them to look overused. Also, if you have dining room or living room tables, add some little books to it, just so it looks very homey. So remember, preparing your home for showings or getting it market ready, that's an investment. I know a lot of these things seem tedious, and some people might say, well, I don't want to put my things away. I still live here. But if you want the best possible outcome, then you probably want to do everything in your power to get to that best possible outcome and listen to your realtor. So me as a realtor, I'm going to get you in contact with professional contractors just in case this drawer needs to be put back on track or there's a hole in the wall because little Johnny, hit it with a golf club or whatever. I have contractors on hand that can come in and do quick repairs. I also have professional stagers. If you're not planning on living in the home and you want to take your furniture with you wherever you go, we can stage the home with a professional stager. As a realtor, I'm giving you all of that. I'm giving you all these resources to do, and these resources make huge impacts. Okay. So you definitely want to ask your realtor about that. If you need a lot of repairs and you don't paint, you're not a professional painter, leave that to the professionals unless it's just small touch-ups. But your realtor will have resources most likely. They will also do something called a comparative market analysis. Now that comparative market analysis is not the end all, but it does give you a good idea of where your home should be marketed at. You need all of that information so we can properly price your home. So again, guys, the main idea behind selling your home, you want to get the most for your home. You want somebody to come in and offer you what your home is actually worth, and you don't want lowball offers. The best way to get that is to prepare your home the right way, even if it does include a few this and that. Allow your realtor to help out. Allow your realtor to give you pointers. If you don't have a realtor, be sure to reach out to me. Now, as always, my information is in the comments. And just make sure you're watching my videos because I have a lot of informative videos. All right, guys. So, of course, we are here at the end, and I hope you got a lot from this video. But again, pricing is everything, right? You want to get the most for your home. You don't want somebody to come in and lowball you. So of course, the realtor can tell you what the market is suggesting for your home, but you as the homeowner have to do your part as well. You have to make sure your home is market ready. You do have a job yourself as the homeowner to get that home market ready. Otherwise, we can't do our job as a realtor marketing your home. So again, I hope you found this video very helpful. If you like what I'm telling you, make sure you reach out. I would love to help walk you through the process. Now, I am located in Fayetteville, North Carolina, but if you're in a different city or state, I can definitely find you somebody in that area that has the same expertise.